Welcome, film enthusiasts, to another riveting episode of The Film Files. Today we embark on a journey back in time to 1966, where we unearth the intriguing story behind the epic movie, The Sand Pebbles, featuring the charismatic Steve McQueen. This isn't merely a war drama, but a fascinating exploration of socio-political themes with an unforgettable performance by McQueen. Sit tight as we delve into the ins and outs of this cinematic spectacle, laden with trivia and behind-the-scenes tales, including a dive into the Steve McQueen film that never was, Day of the Champions. Set in 1926 China, amidst the violent uprising against foreign imperialism, we're introduced to Jake Holman, an engineman aboard the U.S. gunboat, the San Pablo, colloquially called the Sand Pebbles. Holman is an unconventional sailor. His unyielding desire for individualism challenges the system's rigidity. And when the revolution's tide begins to rise, Holman is caught between his duty as a sailor and his newfound friendships with the Chinese locals. Directed by Robert Wise, who was just fresh off his massive success with The Sound of Music, the script is an adaptation of Richard McKenna's award-winning novel. Wise's exceptional handling of the intricate narrative and his realistic approach to action sequences are among the standout elements of The Sand Pebbles. Robert Wise initially offered the role of Jake Holman to Paul Newman. However, Newman suggested that Steve McQueen would be better suited for the part. Interestingly, the role became a career-defining one for McQueen, garnering him his first and only Academy Award nomination. The Sand Pebbles also marked the debut of renowned actor Richard Attenborough in Hollywood. His heart-rending portrayal of the sailor Frenchie Burgoyne and his forbidden love affair with Maylie, played by Mariette Andrian, added a poignant emotional layer to the film. When it comes to behind-the-scenes drama, Steve McQueen and director Robert Wise had quite the tumultuous relationship. McQueen, known for his rebellious nature, often clashed with Wise on creative decisions. These spats delayed the production, leading the Sand Pebbles to have one of the longest shoots in film history at the time, extending over 6 months. The film's extensive shooting schedule had unintended consequences. McQueen, a known motor racing enthusiast, had planned to film a movie called Day of the Champions, a realistic and raw depiction of the world of Grand Prix racing. However, McQueen's commitment to The Sand Pebbles, coupled with the movie's numerous delays, led to the unfortunate shelving of Day of the Champions. While Day of the Champions remained unmade, the premise lived on. McQueen eventually channeled his passion for motorsports into Le Mans, a movie that became synonymous with his love for racing. Although Le Mans didn't achieve the critical acclaim McQueen had hoped for, it's still considered a cult classic among racing enthusiasts. Back to The Sand Pebbles. The movie's astounding realism is worth noting. The crew constructed an entire replica of a 1910 gunboat, the USS Villalobos, which was remarkably detailed. This mammoth undertaking was built in the docks of Hong Kong and launched in the waters of Taiwan, where a considerable portion of the film was shot. On the technical front, The Sand Pebbles was known for its intricate sound engineering. The crew brought a real triple expansion steam engine all the way from San Francisco to Taiwan, not for use on the ship, but solely to record its sounds. This attention to detail resulted in an Academy Award for Best Sound Effects. As we further delve into the making of The Sand Pebbles, one intriguing aspect of the film that comes to the fore is how it documents history, not as a literal historical record, but as a reflection of the socio-political climate of the time it was made and released. One could say that The Sand Pebbles, being one of the top-grossing films of 1966, grappled with themes of colonialism and American imperialism, yet steered clear of explicit commentary. This ambiguity and reticence on the part of screenwriter Robert Anderson and director Robert Wise adds to the film's complexity. It veers between stereotypical portrayals of the Far East to intimate scenes of camaraderie between the American sailors and Chinese workers, simultaneously critiquing and glorifying American diplomacy. This rope-a-dope tactic seems to reflect the general societal uncertainty of the time. Parallels between the birth of modern China and the escalating situation in Vietnam are evident, further hinting at the political upheaval happening globally, particularly in former colonies. The film does not offer an optimistic ending. Instead, it reveals a narrative of decay, illustrated by the doomed relationships and the looming threat of violence. Despite the grandeur of a war drama, The Sand Pebbles is more a psychological exploration, as portrayed in the raw hand-to-hand combat scenes, which stand as metaphors for the real-world tensions of the era. The Sand Pebbles received a generally positive response from critics upon its release in 1966. The film was lauded for its epic scale, rich cinematography, and strong performances, particularly from Steve McQueen, who was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for his role as Jake Holman. Critics appreciated director Robert Wise's detailed and vivid recreation of the political turbulence in 1920s China, where the story is set. The film was also commended for its exploration of complex themes such as colonialism, American imperialism, and the moral implications of violence. Steve McQueen's portrayal of Holman was highlighted as a departure from his cool image, and was noted for its nuanced depiction of an ordinary man struggling with his conscience amidst the turmoil around him. The Sand Pebbles is a great piece of classic cinema. I love the epic roadshow experiences, complete with an overture, first act, intermission, entr'acte, and second act. All in all, I feel this is a great movie, with an excellent performance from McQueen, but the portrayals of the Chinese are often problematic. The movie does have a strong anti-colonial and anti-imperialistic message, though, and the sheer scale of the movie alone makes it worth watching. That brings us to the end of this episode of The Film Files, where we sailed through the riveting tale of The Sand Pebbles and took a detour through the story of the film that never was, Day of the Champions. If this cinematic journey intrigued you, stay tuned for more stories from the mesmerizing world of film. Until next time, keep exploring and keep watching.